Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity. If you missed my previous upload, I went through a bunch of fails and products that were just okay that I have been using for the past couple months, pretty much ever since the beginning of May when we moved. There were a lot of products from my Shop My Stash April, which was the last time I ever shopped my stash. So I went through all of the fails and okay products in that video, which I will link. Not sure which side it is, but I'll link it up here if you want to go watch that. Today's video though is going to be all about the products that did wow me for the last couple months. They've just been recent favorites. They've been products I've had in my drawer for the past 3-4 months, and I just find myself continually reaching for them and continually impressed with them. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so first off, let's go with the new product that I pulled. I'm pretty sure I pulled in my April Shop My Stash. Even if I didn't, it's a new product that I started using after the move or shortly around. Anyway, it's a new product. This is the Coola. It's called the Mineral Sunscreen Unscented Matte Tint Mineral BB Cream, Broad Spectrum SPF 30. Somewhere in there is the name. I'm not sure exactly what this is called, but anyway, this is a tinted BB cream that has SPF in it, and I wanted this for the summer just to give me a little bit of coverage, a little bit of color, but also making sure I still get to my SPF. I was thinking specifically for the summer, going to the pool and stuff, on the days I don't want to wear a full face of makeup, or even if I do, I can put this on first and then put all my makeup on and know that I have, you know, the SPF 30, at least something underneath the makeup to kind of protect everything. So that's why I initially bought it, and I have ended up using this a lot more than I thought. Because I've been sick the last couple months, I haven't wanted to do makeup, but I've noticed that on the days when I just kind of want to make myself feel and look a bit better, I would put this all over my face. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't give you any kind of coverage. Like, I don't know. When I put this on my face and blended it, I'm like, there's zero coverage. It literally looks like a moisturizer. But after I leave my table and go about my day, especially if I set it and maybe put some concealer under my eyes, I do feel like it gives me some type of coverage. So it's really weird. It doesn't look like anything. You blend it in and it's like, did it do anything? Maybe it tinted a little bit. It doesn't look like much, but I feel like it does do something. Does that make sense? Like, I don't even know, but it definitely... it did something for me. And like I said, if I would put a little bit of concealer under my eyes, maybe on a couple areas that were breaking out, set my whole face with some type of light powder, then I felt like I looked like I had a very light coverage foundation on, and it just felt like nothing on my skin. So I really appreciate that about it. So it did do something. It has a very interesting feel. I definitely wanted to make sure I mentioned that when I reviewed this, because it feels almost like one of those pore-filling primers, very silicone-y. I don't even know all the ingredients. It's probably on the box, which is long since gone, but it feels very... that type of silicone, almost pore-filling primer, but it smooths over your face so smoothly and a lot nicer, I feel like, and soaks in and kind of sets into your face a lot nicer than more pore-filling primers. So I don't know what that's about. It always kind of took me off guard whenever I would put it on and be like, ooh, this feels very interesting. But I never minded how it settled into my face and blended in. I always thought it was very nice. So overall, I've just been super impressed with this product, and it's definitely one that I will continue to get a lot of good use out of, especially on the days, like I said, when I really don't want to wear much face makeup, but I do want to do something with my face. I'll put this on, use a little concealer, set my face with powder, and then just like touch the cheekbones, the hollows of my cheekbones with some bronzer and call it a day. I did this video, I'll link it up here. It was a tag video, and on that day I just had this, some concealer, powder, bronzer, and a highlight. And that's all I had on my face. So I felt like it looked really nice on camera and in real life. So it kind of hits all the marks for me for those days when I really don't want to mess with a full coverage and just kind of have that makeup-y feeling all day. I can put this on and, you know, do my face, go about my day, and I feel like I have nothing on my skin. And it's just really nice, and I really, if you can't tell, have been enjoying it. Surprisingly, I have really been loving the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Now, I was trying to go back and find my initial review of this. I mentioned it, I think I tried it for the first time last summer, and while I liked it and I liked the light coverage it gave me, if I'm remembering correctly, I didn't like how it didn't last on my skin. Now, with that said, you guys know I'm pregnant and my skin does change, and I feel like it tends to be a lot more dry during pregnancy. So I had reached back into my collection and grabbed this shortly after moving here, and I kid you not, I tried to use this morning. I had to unscrew the cap because I basically used it all up. I mean, I have to, there's still stuff in there, but I have to pull it out like this to use it. It's kind of all stuck on the sides. So I don't know, I need to like try and hammer it down to see if I can get some, there's still product in there, so I gotta figure out how to get it out. But I was just shocked to realize that I have used almost this entire thing up, and I feel like if that doesn't tell you, I've been really enjoying it. I don't know what does. I can't remember the last time I went through a foundation. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I bought this last summer. So I thought that was pretty impressive. I had to mention it here. I really like how light coverage this is. I enjoy this smell. I don't know, that's an odd note, but it's just every time I put this on, I enjoy the smell. I have it on my skin today. It doesn't give like full coverage or anything. Like you can still see the areas I'm breaking out around my face or around my lips and stuff like that. But it gives you a very natural finish and it gives you a very lightweight feel, which is what I like. And since I haven't been wearing a ton of makeup in previous months, if I needed to do my makeup for the day, I tended to go very light on the eyes. I wanted to go very light on the face, but I kind of wanted a little help concealing and just giving myself an even base. I was reaching for this so very much over the past couple months, and I really didn't notice it having much problem with getting oily throughout the day. Now, as I said, I'm pregnant, so I tend to have drier skin, so I think that has something to do with it. Maybe this is a foundation I'll only enjoy when I'm pregnant, and once my usual oily skin comes back full force, it just won't last, because I remember it not lasting well throughout the day and getting super shiny and oily and like it slip sliding off, but I have not had any of those issues the past couple months. All that to say, I have been loving this. I am almost done with it, and yeah, it's just been a big favorite of mine, and I think I'm just going to continue to get all the use I can out of this before this baby comes so that I can use up a foundation and enjoy it while I can. Moving on to a setting powder. This one I'm pretty sure was new for the Shop My Stash. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I was really curious about this because I like loose powders like the COTY Airspun and whatnot, but I'm always looking for something just a little bit better. I don't know, I'm always curious to try them. So I picked this up to try as a good, drugstore alternative to see how good it is. I really have been enjoying my Hourglass loose setting powder, but that's more expensive. And so I want to find something like that I can use for like setting all over my face, because while I love the Hourglass all over my face, it's expensive and I'd rather just use it under my eyes and something else all over my face. Anyway, I've been trying to see if there's something else at the drugstore that maybe is just a little bit nicer, a little bit more luxe, you could say, than the COTY, because the COTY Airspun, while I absolutely love it, I feel like it's a bit of a denser formula, so if you're not careful, I feel like you can get it a little cakey, and a lot of people don't like the smell and all that. So anyway, I've just been curious to try other loose powders at the drugstore, and this was the one I grabbed. So anyway, that intro out of the way, I have really been enjoying this. If you can't tell, it's in my favorite. I found this to be incredibly light on the skin, and I got the shade, what was it? Fair Light, number 10, and I really enjoyed this for setting my face. When I didn't want to use a pressed powder that would add more coverage, maybe a little more cakey, especially on the days when I just use this mineral BB cream and then put a little concealer everywhere, I would set my face with this and just use more of a denser brush to kind of pack it on, give me a little bit more coverage, but set my whole face. And I absolutely loved that little combo of this, a concealer, which we're going to talk about the concealer that I tended to use next, and this powder. It was just a beautiful combo, and I felt like it looked great on my skin. I liked how this felt on my skin. It made my skin feel soft. It set my under eyes nicely. Now, because this is tinted, I tended to prefer to use like a lighter type of setting powder directly under my eyes, which is one of the ones I'm panning. If you want to see, the one I'm panning is from Rimmel. I'll put the video up here. I'm trying to pan that this year, so I've been focusing on that, and I like something just to brighten under my eyes, but this I kept turning to over and over again to set my whole face. Give me a touch more coverage. It doesn't give you a lot of coverage, which is kind of what I like in a powder, because I don't want my face to look too cakey with powder. But anyway, just give a little bit of coverage, kind of even things out, set my face so if I was going outside and I knew I was going to be sweating, it kind of helped lock everything in place. And yeah, it's just a really nice consistency that I was really impressed with, and I want to pull this back out at some point and compare it to the COTY and see which one I like better, because I feel like the COTY is just such a staple, such a favorite in my collection. I'm always kind of like, well, is this better or just below, or does it top and take over the COTY? I want to see kind of where this ranks with the COTY, so that's definitely something I want to try here soon in the near future. But overall, COTY wasn't one I was pulling for the last couple months. This was one of the only loose setting powders in my drawer, and I used it all the time and absolutely loved it. Okay, concealers. I'm just going to mention this real quick because I've mentioned so many of my favorite videos, I feel like, but it is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I really love this concealer. It's It's just so nice, and it's such a staple, and I had it in my everyday makeup drawer, and I used it so many times the past couple months, so I had to mention it here. But I feel like, as I said, I've mentioned it so many times, I've reviewed it so many times that I don't want to go on and on, but this is such a great concealer, and it's really, really nice. I like that it gives me just a touch more coverage under my eyes than the next concealer I'm going to talk about, but it still sits really light on my skin. I am curious to see if they're going to discontinue it though, because I think they discontinued the Naked Skin foundation, which has me really scared if they discontinue this. But if you know any information on that, let me know, because I should at least pick up one more. I don't know, I hate stocking up, and I'm sure I could find a replacement, but this is just such a nice one. It's just such a tried and true product that on the days when I didn't want to think about it, this is what I grabbed. The other concealer that I was reaching for so many times over the past couple months is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. This is an outstanding concealer. Now, they say it's high coverage. I don't know if I would say it's high coverage. I still feel like the Urban Decay one gave me more coverage, but this gives very nice coverage for it being so lightweight under your eyes. Like, it's nothing like Tarte Shape Tape, but that's also something that sits really heavy under my eyes and makes my under eyes look really dry. And with my skin being so dry lately, with being, you know, newly pregnant, my skin was going through all sorts of craziness. I wasn't taking care of my skin as much, so there was a lot of just issues on my face in general. So this was a nice concealer to pull for that I could put under my eyes, blend it out. It gave me coverage, but it didn't settle into the lines around my eyes that badly. Like, it still did at the end of a long day, but it didn't crease. And I hope that makes sense and you understand the difference between like creasing in your under eyes and just settling in. Like, it's going to settle. There are lines. I don't think there's a product out there that can blend in to the skin around your eyes that have so many little lines and not settle, but it didn't crease. Hope that makes sense. So anyway, this did not crease on me, which I really appreciated and found really nice, and it gave me nice coverage. Now, I talked about a concealer in my fails from the past couple months, and while I liked how lightweight that one was, I didn't like that it didn't conceal and cover enough. And if you watch that video, I feel like you can really tell in my under eyes, I was wearing it that day, that it wasn't giving me enough coverage. Whereas this one, it's what I'm wearing under my eyes today. You let me know. I feel like it gives me nice coverage. Sure, you know, there's a little bit of darkness. Mostly, like, this is my darker side. Sure, there's a little bit of darkness, but nothing that intense, honestly, and nothing that I don't need it to completely erase my under eyes, because anything that does that is going to make it feel super thick and cakey and crease, at least in my experience. So anyway, overall, I was just really impressed with this. I think this is the same, like, liner collection that had the foundation that I wasn't a fan of. I can't remember. And if they ever discontinued the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, this is a good, solid replacement for it. So I can't be too sad at it. Next, let's talk about the Milani Sun-Kissed Silky Matte Bronzer. I think it's a Sun-Kissed Bronzer in Silky Matte. This one right here, I enjoyed this so much. I have it in the hollow of my cheek today. I bronzed with the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, so across my whole face, I didn't use this, but just in the hollow, I love how cool toned this bronzer is. And if you can see, I have a serious dip going, and I'm curious to see if I'll hit pan in this before my Too Faced one that I'm trying to pan. But anyway, I feel like I've reviewed this on my channel already, so I won't go on too long, but overall I was just very impressed with this. I like how silky smooth it is. I like how pigmented it is without being too pigmented, because especially when it comes to bronzers and contours, while it's nice to have nice pigment, if it's too dark, it can be scary, because, I mean, you're putting that on your face and you don't want this big old stripe that you have to blend out. So this, I just felt like I could very easily, that was an odd place to swatch, Katie. I could very easily put this on a brush and build it up very nicely. I don't know if they have a bunch of shade selections. This is the one I picked for my skin, and it works really nice for me, and I love how cool toned it is, because I feel like a lot of times, especially drugstore, but maybe just across the board, sometimes bronzers and contours, like, I feel like companies can get them a little confused and contours are too warm leaning, and I personally prefer a very cool toned type of contour, so this just hit all the marks for me, and I use this a ton the past couple months. Moving on to the highlighter that I have on, it is the Hard Candy Fox in a Box Girl Boss. Now, I'm pretty sure on here it says Marbleized Baked Highlighter, but I could have sworn that whenever I look this up online to, like, link it in a video, it says bronzer. I don't know what that's about, but just make sure, I mean, it looks like this. It says Girl Boss on the back, and it's called the Fox in a Box collection. I don't know, but this highlighter is beautiful. I know I've reviewed this on my channel before, so once again, I'm not going to say too much. It is a baked product, which I feel like I tend to not go for, but oh my goodness, it gives the most blinding highlight. Like, do you see how icy that is? It doesn't take much. I have it on my cheeks today and I even put a little on my cupid's bow, which I never do. But this is just a highlighter that anytime I use it, I go in with my brush, put a little on my face, and it's just like bam, it's there instant. There's no building, there's no like wetting your brush to try to intensify it. You can do that and get even more intense, but for me personally, it's like ready for action. As soon as you put it on your face, it's there. There's no need to build it. It's very easy to blend. And if anything, I don't know if it's just this shade or this product in general, maybe they have a darker shade that will work for me. But if anything, I have to be careful because it'll lean a little icy white on me and on my skin, which I don't want an icy white highlight. I just want to highlight. But if I'm careful and don't use too much, I feel like it just gives a gorgeous, gorgeous glow that looks really nice and natural. Well, as natural as a streak of highlight can be, but it doesn't look like you have a stripe on your face. You can diffuse it very easily into your skin. It kind of melts into your skin really nicely. Doesn't emphasize texture for me personally. I never noticed that. And yeah, it's just a beautiful highlight. I've raved about it before. I enjoyed using it the last couple of months once again. And yeah, it's just always a favorite. Really quickly, I don't think I'll have to spend too long on this, but this is the NYX Glitter Goals Liquid Eyeliner, and I got the shade Chamomile. I can't remember if I've reviewed this on my channel before or if this was a new product to try, but I got this to see if it was a dupe for the Urban Decay, what are these called? Heavy Metal Liners, which I have. I was trying to fix this eye look today. Anyway, I have it in my cut crease. But anyway, I really, really, really like this, and I would consider this to be a dupe. I didn't notice any kind of flaking, any kind of cracking. Now, when I use this type of eyeliner, I pretty much only use it in my crease like you guys tend to see me do. It's nicely pigmented for being a glitter liquid liner. I know it's hard to see there, but there's a nice amount of glitter and color, which I think is important because a lot of times with liquid glitter liners, I feel like some products can just be glitter and no color, so that when you use it, if you're not really careful to kind of go back and forth and make sure you have an even distribution of the glitter, it can look a little weird because you just have this clear streak that has like chunks of glitter here and there. I hope that's making sense. This has a color tint to it, and you can definitely tell, and it helps when you apply it for it to look nice. So overall, I love this, and I do consider it a dupe, and I do want more shades in this. Next up, I wanted to rave about the Essence Super Precise Eyeliner. It's the eyeliner I have on my eyes today. This stuff is bomb. This reminds me so much of the NYX matte liquid liner that I absolutely love. Like, look how tiny that tip is. It's not too long. I want to say maybe it's a tad bit shorter than the NYX one. I don't have that one anymore. I panned it, I think, or finished it off. But anyway, I reached for this and I've been using it, and I absolutely love it. And I want to say it's a little more affordable than the NYX because it is the Essence brand. I wouldn't say this is like super duper duper matte, but it gives a matte finish, which is my preference when it comes to liquid liner. So overall, I was just really impressed, and I do find this to be pretty darn waterproof, which is nice because my eyes tear a lot, especially when I'm pregnant. They'll tear up either the inside corner or the outside corner. I never notice my liner smudging on the outside. If I apply this and I put it on the inside and it hasn't set yet and my eyes start to water, it will run a bit, but if it at least sets and then my eyes water, I don't notice it running, which is really, really, really nice. So yeah, I had to give this one a shout out. I know sometimes the NYX one can be a little hard to grab, or the more expensive ones are more expensive. Check out Essence because it's really affordable and really, really good. Okay, let's talk about brow products, and I think we're done here. This is the Urban Decay Brow Endowed. It's the one that has the primer and color on either side, and both are a brush tip, or what is this called? Spoolie tip, not brush, spoolie, and I really like this. Now, I'm someone, you guys know, with very full brows. I'm not someone who likes to carve out my brows or use pomades or really use pencils that much. I mean, sometimes I do, but on the everyday, I like to just use some type of brow gel to run it through my brows, tinted brow gel preferably, run it through my brows and call it a day. I don't like them to be like super filled in, and this is perfect for it, and I really like the primer side because I think it really does. I felt like I could tell a difference with it helping keep my brows in place. Since I have such thick brows, like that, my brow hairs are thick, they can kind of move around throughout the day and just kind of point in weird directions and then stay like that because they're so thick, they have a mind of their own. So this I noticed to really help kind of pull all of those brow hairs in the same direction and then keep them down without it being uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I had, you know, hairspray on my brows or anything like that. And then the tinted side, the color side, was really nice too. I just felt like it was a very nice tinted brow gel, and I love the spoolie. The spoolie on both sides are so fine and thin. I thought it was fantastic. It is expensive though because it is Urban Decay. So I am definitely wanting to find something more affordable at the drugstore to repurchase, but in the meantime, I use this so many times. You guys have heard me say a million times I went very no makeup-y the last couple months, and this is something I reached for when I was going super light with my makeup and call it a day. If I was going a little more heavy with my makeup or just putting on more and wanted my brows to look a little more done and not, you know, a little more carved out, I was reaching for the Thrive Causemetics Instant Brow Fix Semi-Permanent Brow Gel. I have the shade Serena, and this stuff is pretty darn bomb. I have it in my brows today. This is the one which is a little bit bigger than the Urban Decay one, but it's not too big, and I like how precise it is. This stuff really does tint your brows and kind of tints the skin as well, which is why I would use it on the days when I wanted my brows to be a little more carved out without having to get a brow pencil or something and really carve it out. This could do the job. Now you can see it still doesn't like completely fill it in because you can see my scar over here, but for the most part, I would use this and put it through my brows on both sides. Like I didn't have to double dip. One pull out will do both brows because there's so much product in here and on the actual spoolie. And then I would, after I kind of set the brows up here, I would take whatever remained on the spoolie and just bring it down both sides, and it would tint the sides and the tails of my brows enough to make it look like I filled it in, because that's definitely where I am more sparse. There's just not as much hair there, and so sometimes they can look a little like they're missing. But with this, because of that tint and that strong color it would bring, and it wasn't anything too strong either to make it look like you had a Sharpie. I liked how feathered out it looked. It just gave me really nice brows. It made them look really well done. They stayed on all day. I never noticed any issues with it kind of fading throughout the day, flaking off, anything like that. Overall, I was just super impressed with this product, and I do highly recommend. I like it for those days when I want my brows to look really done without having to pull out a pomade and like really go at them and carve them out and stuff like that. This is just kind of like the lazy girls method for me personally. Alright, so that is going to do it for my favorites from the past couple months. I hope you guys enjoyed that and found it informative. Yeah, these were products that just stood out to me. I couldn't get enough of them. They were the products that I went to when I didn't want to think about it, when I wanted my makeup to not, you know, be a bother or not having to keep up with it. I wanted to be put on my face and be done and not have to worry about it throughout the day. These were just the standout products that I was continually either going for, being impressed with, or just continually reaching for because I didn't want to have to think about worrying about new products. I feel like I'm just talking in circles at this point. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I already said that. Let me know your thoughts down below if you tried any of these products out, how you guys like them, if you like them as much as I do, that sort of thing. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.